Alright, hey everybody, Mind Circus here with you, as you probably can tell by the name on the desktop. Okay, so I'm sitting around talking to Envy today, and we're talking about how to rip off Twisted. Literally. Here's the one in question that we were talking about. And really what Envy was talking about was how to get these this kind of block lettering effect. Okay? And if you look, she's kind of Twisted has kind of had the background like washed out, same kind of image. If we take a look, Twisted was nice enough to show me one of the other ones that she did of the same kind of style. And there it is, like that. So really what we're talking about is how to kind of cut the letter shapes out of the background and how to do it quick. And Twisted told me how she does it. It's going to be a little more complicated than what I'm going to show you here, but her way is probably a little better in the long run. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to start a new picture, and we will fill it with black. Then we'll grab the picture that we want to use, Control C, Control L to paste as a new layer, and what we're going to do is lay it down like that. Okay. Now the area that I want to use is fairly small. I wouldn't ordinarily do this, but for the sake of just demo here, I'm just going to expand this picture a little bit. It's fairly high res, so it'll probably take the expansion pretty well. And I'm just going to grab the main area that I know I'm going to work with. So far so good. Now, what I'm going to do here at this point is I'm going to duplicate the layer. Okay? So now I've got two layers. They're identical. It's just the actual picture. I'm going to grab this first layer here. I'm going to go to my brightness and contrast. And I'm going to actually just wash it out, similar to what Twisted does with some of her work, although she uses some filters that get a better effect immediately than what I'm doing here. I would have to work on this quite a while to get that same kind of effect that she gets. And okay at this point. So now I've got two layers. If you look at them, I've got my washed out layer and my regular layer. I'm actually just going to wash that layer out a lot more. There we go. Now, the next thing that we need here is a suitably chunky font. If we take a look at these fonts that Twisted is using, they're really, really thick. And that's really important for this because obviously if you're using thin fonts, you're not going to be able to see that picture in the background. So I went and took a look around. I didn't have a ton of really chunky fonts like this, so I went and grabbed one at DeFont. And it is called Power Chord. And what we'll do here is we will just put these black letters up. Oops. And then we're just going to kind of put these letters where we think we want everything here. So we'll just, for the sake of argument, mash it up like that. Okay. So now that I've got it here like this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to my magic wand tool. I'm going to select each of those layers by holding down the shift key as I click into each one. So I've created a selection layer of my text. I'm going to hide my text, go down to this lower layer here, which is my washed out, faded out layer. I'm going to hit delete. Okay. And that really is what we're talking about here at this point, is to get that effect. Now, what I could do here is, instead of what I just did, okay, I'm actually going to hide that layer, go down to my original layer, and I'm going to invert my selection so everything but the layers now is being selected. You can tell because of our marquee around the entire picture. I'm going to hit delete again. And that's really what we're talking about. There are ways to do it with masks. I'm sure Twisted could explain that, but generally at this point we can just bring our text back Okay, let's grab this text, and instead of it being black, we will set it for white. Okay. Then what we're going to do is we're going to put this under our cutout. Just increase the size of that text a little bit. If we start playing with it there, we can get that effect where there's that little line around every letter. It's a cheap way to do it. There are other ways to do it, but yeah. So really, there you have it. There's a bunch of different things you could do here at this point. Really, what I might do here is take it back, and with my text, put it over, and then go in here, and instead of making the text there white, let's just grab this and make a white stroke. Hit OK. Just resize that down. That's another way to get that effect. There's a bunch of different ways you can do that, but as you can see, we can start to play with it there at this point. But that's really the way I thought about how to do it. There it is. Hope that helps.